Okay, this is going to be a Grill Country speed video. Luke Thompson wanted to talk to me about perennialism, and we have about 2 minutes to finish this conversation. Go.
All right. So I've been thinking this is the conversation that's behind the conversation in this little corner for a long time. You and James touched on it. I saw the clip, but I mean, was that in your Meditation on the Tarot chapter 6
It
video?
was, yeah.
Okay. And so it gets into like exclusivity and inclusivity, and I've been talking a lot.
His audience
recent.
liked my clips better, by the way. They thought I was rambling in the conversation.
Well, man, if they think you ramble, they definitely haven't rambled. And the last time I mean, like when I was in the earlier Grail Country videos, like I looked back, those don't have very many views. So now you've like blown up, at least, in our corner, and gotten
Right.
more popular.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised. Like a lot of those older videos are picking up views, so they'll catch on.
Are they?
Mhm.
So I don't know. I made a video. So one of those early videos was just one of my videos that you reposted about Christian perennialism versus pluralism, which was stemming from this. I don't know if it was like a Reddit thread that I saw, and I saw a really meaty, substantive note that, or it was like a little comment that I started riffing on. And since then, I've been thinking a lot about Christian perennialism. And you and Cal have similar sentiments on this. Is that you would say Christianity just includes perennialism?
Yeah.
And it's I don't know. It's
that's why this. But by the way, for Vicky intuits this a little bit, because that's why he says that Christian Neoplatonism is better than pagan Greek Neoplatonism. But it's not just because it's an intellectual achievement. It's because Christianity itself pushes the thinking in the direction that exceeds where the pagans went.
Okay, yeah.
It's actually the principles that Christ taught that allows them to have the vision to make Platonism better.
Well, this is the distinction. This is the distinction I would think with Christianity versus, because Vervaeke talked about Neoplatonism as being a common language for like all mystical traditions kind of around this time of Christ, which I think is true. It goes into Kabbalah and Sufism and Christianity and whatever. But Christianity, the reason Christianity is more substantive and I think deeper, and not in like a propositional exclusivist like Trump, you have to get in my ideological team way, but just in a reality way, is because of it's personalist and it's the incarnation.
Yes,
that's why
human nature is united to divine nature.
Yes.
Now figure out what that means.
No, well, it's a lived reality. It's not just a language. It's not just abstractions. It's not like a self-identifying Trump claim about propositions. It's not that you have to agree with all my ideas about it. And even if Christianity were true propositionally, it's not that your conscious assent to those propositions is what makes you a Christian. It's just it's the lived reality behind all that.
Correct. Well, it's reflecting the pattern of the divine life.
Yes.
In your own life.
Yes, and it's fundamentalist, and this is why I say like all my Christian cones, like exclusivist inclusivism, or like why I love that David Bentley Hart article about I never know how to say it. It's Latin. You know Latin better than me. Traditio de Formandis or whatever. Critiquing
Traditio de
Reformed
Formis, yeah.
Yeah. So it's saying like if you follow the biblical motif, it's always exclusion for a later inclusion. So it's this further up, further in, exclusion, inclusion, grafted in, grafted out. But it's always for this expanding inclusion. And I think Christian perennialism gets at that really well. But it's fundamentally, I don't know. It's such an irony to me that I think identitarianism and this confessionalism bullshit came out of Christianity. But this gets into like my Christ and Antichrist or a hair's breadth.
Well, first of all, if we're talking about truth about God, how can it be anything other than perennial?
Right. I mean, I would agree. It's got to be, yeah, this is like.
Have people always been able to have some genuine intuition about the divine? Yes. Right?
Yes.
In as much as it's a genuine intuition about the divine, it is by definition perennial.
Yeah. What is I don't know. Okay, to Steel Man, it's hard to talk about this with you a little bit because I think we just both see it so closely that like it's not that.
I'll play devil's advocate. I'm good at it.
Yeah. Well, and I was
Ask
just
me
trying.
to, and I'll do it.
Yeah, we should both do it, because I was just thinking, why, besides straw manning the kind of ideological exclusionist confessionalist things, like besides saying it's just like fundamentalist, ignorant, tribalism, like what is the, is it just a misunderstanding of the convergence and the coexistence, the simultaneous reciprocity of freedom and constraint
I
in
think it,
language?
I think it's just, I think it's just, I think it's just a function of, I mean, honestly, you've had it right all along. It's just a function of the ego wanting its
That damn stoic
vision.
intellect.
Yeah, it's the ego wanting its vision to be the vision.
And fear,
So
POS.
rather than that, then yes, and fear of having to adapt and change.
Fear masquerading as love,
Yeah.
I think, and that conservative temperament, that conservative
Well,
impulse.
I saw a little clip of. Did you see Ian McGilchrist's Rebel Wisdom conversation yesterday? He was talking about how
No.
like anger is associated with the left brain, with the left hemisphere, actually.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
And that it actually cannot tolerate the idea that it's wrong. So in as much as you have made your religion a religion of left brain propositionalism, you have made it so that you feel like you have to have it right, and you cannot tolerate the idea that you might have got it wrong, which has nothing to do with relating to God in any real way.
No. Yeah.
And
And
if
not,
you have to, and if
yeah.
you don't break that, you never will.
Well, yeah, and it has nothing to do with, like, this is a verse I love to throw at kind of fundamentalist Christians. Is just like, and they it's so annoying to me that they abstract this. But Jesus said, when Jesus is just like, I am the way, the truth, and the life.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
that's not like an abstracted I.
It's not like, yeah, they think what that means is like, you need to say the right propositional formula acknowledging that,
confess with your mouth and believe in your heart that Jesus is Lord. Yeah.
If the pattern of your person does not conform to the pattern of my person, you are on the wrong way. There is no truth in you, and there is no life in you.
Yeah, this is, and like,
Shari has showed up.
Oh, okay. Christ, the only existent one. That's how I want to end.
Let's end it on that.
Okay.